Here's Brody Brazil.
Oh, we just went purple. How about the state of the Sacramento Kings? Now, let me just say this for clarification. I grew up in the Bay Area, went to tons of Warriors games. Run TMC was my jam, not to mention all the other surrounding players. The Sarunas Marshalloneses, the Billy Owenses, the Chris Gatlings, Sprewell for spurts. John Starks. Remember when John Starks was a Warrior? Anyway, Kings fans, you don't want to watch this part. So I'm just saying I've always loved the Warriors, but I've never disliked the Sacramento Kings. Nothing but respect for the fact that they have a totally different situation, smaller market, right up 80. You could go there from the Bay Area. Like, it's not, if you kind of want to see like an NBA road game or see the Warriors play on the road, literally it's a small, short commute to get to. And I'm so sad that Arco Arena doesn't exist. I mean, I'm thrilled that Golden One Center was built, where it was built, when it was built to save the team. But there was something about Arco. Like, it really was a barn, the wood floors, and you could stop and make a lot of loud noise, and how loud it got there. And all the eras of teams, and just, oh my goodness. Early 2000s, it was special. Anyway, state of the Sacramento Kings right now. And they've had an interesting season. They've had some changes with the head coach, but we got to begin with this. Let's light the beam on this team. How cool is that? They've made it their thing on nights where they win. As soon as they win, from the top of Golden One Center in downtown Sacramento, they light that big purple beam, shoot straight up in the sky. And in a place like Sacramento, that works. Like here in the Bay Area, that doesn't really work. All the hills, and you couldn't see the beam from 5 miles away because, there's a small hill or a big mountain in your way. But in Sacramento, where you can see for miles, like I bet you on a really clear night, could you see it from Stockton? That might be too far. Could you see it from up in the foothills? Like in Rockland, could you see that beam? I'd be interested to know. Let me know, by the way, in the comments, if you live like farther away from downtown Sacramento and you can see that. I don't know, but on TV it looks great. Anyway, what a cool thing. And it signifies the time that they're having and the season that they're having and the start that they're off to. Winning record for the first time in a while. Went on the 7-game win streak after losing their first 4 games of this season. And Mike Brown, their new head coach, came in saying that he was going to change things up. They've always been a quick, talented, fast break, full court team. Let's slow things down. We'll work on our half-court attack and offense and make that kind of our strong point. And they have. And they've been scoring a ton of points. They average 118 points per game, which is good but really important and difficult, and I'll explain that in just a second. Their star point guard, De'Aaron Fox, draft pick from 5 years ago now? I'm losing track. We just found out, though, that he's been playing hurt. He has a bruised right foot, which happened in a November 5th game against Orlando. Coincidentally, a game where he hit the buzzer-beating game-winning three-pointer from half court. But in that game, it came with some sacrifice as he's been playing hurt for about a month. Now, the Kings have sustained. They've done okay. I hope that he's revealing this because he's mostly better or is close to that, and he can hang in there. But what the Kings have done is they've captivated people. They've caught their attention. And they are a thing. They are no longer under the radar. And as I mentioned in this look at all of the Bay Area teams, and I know they're Northern California, Sacramento is its own thing, but right now the Sacramento Kings have the longest active playoff drought across all pro sports teams of every league. 16 years they've been on the outside looking in. They need this season to work out. And I'll elaborate more on that in just a second too. But it's weird to see the Kings all of a sudden as not a team that's going to trade their players. The Kings are in the rumor mill because they're going to add. They are buyers now. When was the last time we said that? Was Vlade still posting up back then, trying to get it across to C. Webb back? Like literally? And Peja was trying to shoot as many three-pointers as possible. Like it has been that long. So the Sacramento Kings are looking to add to their team, and I love this for them. I absolutely do. But here's one more big picture thought and a little bit of a concern. I mentioned before that they score a ton of points. In fact, Sacramento Kings, on average, score the second most points per night in the NBA at 118. Here's the problem. They also allow 115 on average. So they win by average by 3 points per night, 118 to 115. But that 115 points allowed per game is 20th in the NBA. Bottom half for sure. You're down there with a lot of teams that don't win a lot of games. They don't outscore their defensive problems. So any reason to worry in the long term, like when hopefully they get to the playoffs, if defense is really important, can they lock down? Are they just not built that way? Are they not capable of it? Does it not suit their style or their personnel? That's something that I hope for the Sacramento Kings improves this year as it goes is their defense. My prognosis on Sacramento is this. Making the playoffs alone would generate so much optimism for this team and this community, something they haven't seen in 16 years now and counting. Like, that streak can literally have a driver's license. It's that old. And by the way, the team that held it longer, that just handed it over to the Kings, it was baseball's Seattle Mariners. They went 21 years without making the playoffs. Went from 2001, I think they won like 115 games that year, something like that, to not making it for the next 21 years. Their streak could have a drink legally. And they just got in the playoffs. So hopefully that's part of this story for the Kings, that they own this stupid streak for 1 year and then they don't even own it anymore. That would be great. But I really do feel like that's all Sacramento needs, is to see their team in a playoff series. Now, I hope it doesn't end there for them. That's an ultimate letdown, and you don't want to go all that way just for that. Who would want that? Not me. But I really hope that is how their season, their last game of the season is in some kind of playoff series. That's all that matters to me. And I think, again, it's that situation where, going into next summer, this upcoming summer, that is what would satisfy Kings fans, to know that they finally got back and they're still building in the right direction. And reinforcements right now, as I said before, it's not just with the little Fox injury, but it's the entire team. I'm not saying that they're fragile by any means, like in terms of injury or in terms of depth, but reinforcements for this group, I feel like, are more of a necessity than a luxury. Right? A lot of teams, if you're looking at them, you say, well, we could add this. It would only make us better. I feel like the Kings, they need that as a necessity more than they need that as, it would be nice to have this or that. But obviously a defensive player would be special, wouldn't it? So that's my state of the Sacramento Kings here in December of 2022.